Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More, and we are checking out the complex apartment after a light remodel. We'll show you what it looks like. We kind of messed up before on this, and we'll talk about how we did that. And then we also have a nifty little machine that makes it smell way better than it did before. So this is the complex, a 7-unit property that has had tons of drama and issues. And apparently our tenants need a lesson on parking because that's going to cause some problems if that truck wants to try to back up. But this apartment we've had a few issues with. Tenant a year ago left it pretty messy and dirty. And then we had a tenant for a year. They moved out. And so this is how it looked a week or so ago, maybe it's a little longer, after that tenant moved out. So we're inspecting it to see how it was. And it still smelled pretty smoky. And like I said, we messed up. I messed up a little bit on this one where the floor was still pretty messed up. I don't feel like the paint was that great and it smelled bad. And we really shouldn't have rented a property like this. And I know we sent our guys in. We had them do a quick remodel. And I can't remember if I just didn't go back and check things or what happened at that point. But we got it rented right away. And they didn't seem to mind and never complained about it. But just for myself personally, I thought we should have left it in a little better condition. So we sent our guys back through, had them redo some things, got it smelling way better, and we just put it back up for rent today. So we'll see how all of that goes. But overall, the complex has been fairly drama-free, fairly easy, and pretty smooth investment. And I was worried about this property when I first bought it just because it would be one of the cheapest rental rate complexes I own, properties I own. And in general, the cheaper the property, the more turnover you have, the more issues you can have, the more maintenance you can have. And we have had a little bit of turnover here, mostly in this unit. But in the other units, they've actually been pretty stable. And not a lot of turnover, not a lot of drama. We did have some issues with the house where a tenant had messed it up a little bit, but we got through it pretty quick, got it re-rented. Those are the tenants who were parked outside. I'm pretty sure we told them when they moved in, hey, you've got 2 parking spots. Here's where they are. Here's how you park. And they just did not pay attention to what those spots were. And like I said, this was a week or so ago, back before the snow and cold and frigid weather, and they were still parked a little weird, but not quite as bad as they were this week when we went back there to see how the remodel looked. All right, so now let's take a look at how it is now. First, the door is clean. So that did get done. However, there were still some cobwebs and stuff up there that I'd asked to be cleaned up. And I know people have said I've been complaining a lot about different things happening, and you are correct. And we are making some changes. So we do have some people leaving and some other people joining our team here pretty soon. So I don't always go into the details on that. You know, people ask me how much I pay my employees. I'm not going to disclose what they get paid. They don't want that. So we give some information. I give more information on my members only channel because I just did a video on some of these situations there. But I'm not going to post publicly a bunch of personal details about people's jobs and works and career and things like that. All right, so here's what it looks like now. We did get everything cleaned. Did a little bit of painting, but you could see the heater still had some marks above it, which is weird. That right there is what got it smelling a lot better, is our ozone machine, which those can work wonders, but just be careful with them because they're a little bit dangerous too. We also replaced all the flooring in the living room and bedroom. So one of my guys who was doing that said that flooring was just awful smelling. And he thinks that was the majority of the smell was from that flooring. So that helped a bunch. It still smelled a little bit weird in there. So we plugged in the ozone machine for a day, and that helps a ton. This was $300, I think, from Home Depot. Again, I don't get paid anything from Home Depot. If anybody knows anybody at Home Depot who wants to pay me, I will gladly accept it because I talk about them all the time, but we do use a lot of stuff from them. We touched up some paint. You might remember in the last video, the ceiling had some stains on it that we thought didn't get touched up before. And I'm just wondering if it was some kind of a weird substance, I don't know what, that just went through the paint, because obviously, that's one thing I wanted to check here. They painted over it. I think they even might have mudded over it a tiny bit. It's still there. It's not as bad, but there's still remnants of that stain coming through, whatever that was. Of course, want to check the closets to make sure they slide okay. Everything looks good. And this one looks so much better and is so much better condition than it was last time. Bathroom's okay. No issues there. But yes, these are small units. This used to be an old motel with a gas station out front. It was converted to multifamily at some point in its life. And I know a lot of people say it's small, you can't live here, but people have different stages in their life, different budgets, and if we can provide different options for housing for people, I think that makes the world a better place than not having those options for housing. All right, so that's the property. We got that better. And then we had something else happen here, which I'd love to have some input on. My son and daughter, who are 13 now, which is crazy, bought the washer and dryer for the complex, so it's going up. And I collect money for them and bring it to them because I'm here and they're not here and they're in school and different stuff. Our washer stopped working. So we think it's the motherboard. It's like $180 to replace it. You tell me, do I charge them for it? Do I give them presents and do it myself? Like to hear what you think on that one. Now, another thing, once the people in the house moved out who had some issues, it got so much nicer in here. It stopped being trashed, stopped being dirty. One of the tenants even brought in that little table, as you can see, for putting different stuff on. It's just been a world of difference. So that's nice to see. But this was from a week ago. This was right before the washer broke, and it isn't filling with water right, and not draining right. It's got a bunch of different issues, and we're pretty sure it's the motherboard. So this one definitely doesn't make as much as the Ocho and Aplex I have, but it does okay, and maybe with more tenants moving in and the washer and dryer actually working, it'll bring in a little bit more income. All right, thanks for watching. We'll have more updates on this and our other apartment complexes and show move-outs and repairs, and if we have any evictions or crazy stuff, hopefully not, when they happen. And of course, we'll have updates on the new Aplex we're remodeling that just had some water issues, and some new properties I'll be buying here soon, which will be super exciting, a little bit bigger properties and a little bit different than what you're used to. Thanks for watching. Be back soon.